right, you're listening to the Songwriter's Notebook podcast. I'm Will Duvall here in Washington, D.C.
And I'm Jordan Brown here in London.
So this podcast is designed for songwriters and musicians alike to help them with tips and tricks and just opinions on songwriting, songwriters who've influenced us, techniques, lessons, things like that. Just all things that will help the songwriter with their craft. So I thought it was good in this first podcast to talk about some experiences that I've had with other songwriters who've come to me with questions about where they should go and what they should do with their songs. And one that I get a lot is they'll have a song that they've been working on for like a year, or they've been working on it for like, I've even had somebody who honestly had a song he was working on for 6 years and like continuing to craft it and perfect it. And I'm like, well, okay, before I say what I think, Jordan, what do you think about this? Have you ever experienced something like that?
Absolutely. It's a common situation. People, you just start working on something and then it changes in your mind. And just because you can, you just start working around it, and all of a sudden you just don't feel it anymore, and you want to chase the first idea, the first intuition, but you can't find it. So you keep on running in circles for months.
Yeah.
I see that happens all the time.
Yeah, it's almost like they have this initial feeling of like writing this great part of a song, and then after they've had it for a little while, that feeling goes away, and they're like looking for something new to, it's like, oh, I got to get that feeling back of this great thing, and that'll make the song better. And it's ridiculous when in reality, you write something that's really great from the beginning. It's probably going to be pretty good, or, well, depending on if it's your first song, it's probably not going to be good at all. But the more you do it, the more you'll get better at it. And
absolutely.
And so if you're spending a year on this one song, my advice is always to put a bow on it, do it, move on to the next one, and it'll be better the second time. The second song will be better, rather than trying to perfectly craft this first song. It's probably not going to happen. You're probably never going to be happy with it.
Yeah. Also, the reason why probably you get tired of it is because it's so insistent in your brain. So it's so persistent in your brain that you just get bored of it because it's some kind of obsession in the end, and it's not fresh anymore, and it's not exciting anymore because you exhausted the musical thought. So always try and be a fast writer, in my opinion. If songs take too much to get born, something's wrong with that. You might not have the right ideas. I mean, amazing and famous songs were born in like 15 minutes, just out of a single thought. And, you don't take it to... Think about Smoke Underwater. Like, that was born in like 10 minutes, and it was the story what happened to those guys. And they just say, oh, let's just write a stupid tune just to, commemorate what happened. And bam, you got like the, rock and roll's like biggest iconic song.
Right. Every beginning guitar player's like first song that they learn. I mean, that's it.
And that was born in 15 minutes.
Right. Yeah. I've also noticed if like you're working too hard to make the song work, you should just stop it. It's like, if it's not going to work, there's a song, this is going to get a little bit weird, but like there's a song in there and it's like, you're kind of just along for the ride. Those are like the best songs that come out. So if you're really like working too hard to make it work and to make it right, it's not. You should probably just scrap the idea. You see that a lot of times in studio work. It's like if the guitar part is too hard to make it fit, it probably doesn't deserve to be there. If the melody line is, or the harmony part is too weird and it doesn't just fit, then it doesn't need to be there. And it's similar with songwriting.
Good point. Let's give our listeners some hope as well. Sometimes you get an idea, and sometimes it's just not the right moment for you. You're not in the right mindset to make it blossom, if that makes sense. Because you write something and you can kind of get the potential of it, but maybe it's not the right time for you to write that stuff. Everything you write, if you record it, if you write it down, even if you just record it in a tape machine like they used to do in the 80s,
right.
It's there. In a year from now, in 2 years from now, when you're stuck because you need a chorus, you will have a stockpile of ideas.
Oh, yeah. I've done that all the time. I do that a lot. I'll have random thoughts of lyrics. I'll have random melodies that, you just go there and you come back to. And yeah, that's a great idea.
That's actually a very good topic for another podcast.
It is. And
we'll talk about it later.
All right. Well, that's great. So, moral of the story, if you've got a song, you're working on it for a year, 2 years, it's too long. Just wrap it up, and move on to the next one. And again,
actually, if you work on it for more than 3 days, it's too long. No, listen. Let's be honest here. Like, if we're talking about full production, that takes a lot of time. But the spark, the idea of a good song, it's almost like the songs, they come to you and they're formed and they want to be what they want to be. If you're trying to bend them to what you want them to be, that can take a long time and you're gonna go somewhere else. It's not gonna work. Yeah. Always stay true, and if it takes too long, just chill and work on something else.
Yeah. And there's part of me that also thinks, and just in my own experience, I've had songs, I've had melodies, I've had, things that I really like, and I don't do anything with it, But if you've got, and so it'll take me a long time to write the song, just to finish it. But if you have a song and it's completed, and yet you keep changing it, that's where I feel like you just need to quit.
That's a huge no.
Just quit changing it. Stop. Move on to the next one. You'll have a lot of ideas for your next song. Don't be afraid of running out of ideas. You just move on. So, yeah. Any last thoughts on that?
Well, I think we've opened a lot of topics, and we need to discuss all of them in different installments of what we're doing here.
Yeah.
So keep on listening, and if you're listening to us on YouTube, just please come say hello, leave a comment, underneath the video, and just, tell us what you think.
Sounds great. So this is the Songwriter's Notebook podcast, and I'm Will Duvall here in Washington, D.C.
And I'm Jordan Brown here in London. Thanks for listening.